Hi everybody, welcome to the Emery's Memories channel. I'm your announcer, Gary Beatty. This channel was created to feature interviews by Ralph Emery. There are over 125 interviews by Ralph for you to enjoy on this channel. This channel has also become a collection point for rare and in some cases never before seen shows and interviews. What you're about to see is one of 14 classic interviews hosted by the LeGarde Twins from Sydney, Australia. It's part of a TV series they created, and it's called Down Home, Down Under. Now, these interviews have remained in their private collection, and they've never aired on radio or television until now. And here's their one-on-one interview with Freddy Fender.
Welcome back to LeGarde Twins Down Home, Down Under. Now here's my brother Tom to tell you about our very special guest.
There is nothing you can't overcome, he says. Racism, prison, drugs, alcohol. He certainly has overcome plenty, yes, even fame. And yet he keeps on singing with the same enthusiasm in his own very unique style.
That's right, Tom. With hit songs like Wasted Days and Wasted Nights, Before the Next Teardrop Falls, Secret Love, Via con Dios, songs that have sold millions of records, has earned him a mainstream audience with his music. He's loved around the world. Our special guest, Freddy Fender. Welcome to the show, Freddy.
How you doing, Tom, Ted, or whoever you are?
I'm Ted, and I'm still Tom.
All right, guys, it's good to see you again.
Nice to see you, Freddy.
The last time we saw you was at Tamworth during the Country Music Festival.
Country Music Festival, that's right.
Freddie, you were 16 when you got into the Marines. Was that a good time or a bad time in your life?
Well, it was a good time at the beginning. Then it became a bad time. You know, I started getting into little problems like drinking and coming late to the base and little things. And in the Marine Corps, all you have to do is do one little bad one, and from there on they just keep mounting up. And consequently, it was not a very good time in my life in the Marine Corps. And even though I'm very glad to have been in the Marine Corps, I'm very proud of it. It took me a long time to get me an honorable discharge, because I came out with a bad conduct discharge.
Is that right?
Yes. And finally, it took years to finally get a paper and admission from the Department of the Navy that there had been some errors at that time in my trial and the whole thing. And so they give you a trial, court-martial, and they gave me a general discharge about 3 years ago with honorable conditions in the Marine Corps.
What did you learn from that, then bad experience? Did you learn something from it?
I don't think so. I don't think so. It took me a long time for me to really mature and learn things. I'm a very slow learner.
Do you learn by your own mistakes?
Yes, but still, I have to make a bunch of mistakes to finally learn. But
Don't we all, though, Freddy?
Yes, I think I was quite worse than the regular mistake maker.
Well,
Why do you think you did that?
I have no idea.
that was just part of you, I guess,
I think
Freddy?
that, yes, I think one of the reasons could be that I was raised without a dad, without a father.
Oh, is that right?
Yes, and the advice that I got was a motherly advice instead of a fatherly advice who knew all these. A father knows all the
pitfalls.
Yeah, all the pitfalls and the tricks of the this and that, and how, and I just had to learn them as I went along instead of already knowing about them. And then I was just a little thick-headed, and wanted to have my own way, and it doesn't work out like that. I know that now,
Freddy, what was it like growing up in, was it Benito, Texas?
San Benito.
San Benito, Texas.
Yeah,
Did you have to, were you raised on a farm?
No, I was raised in a sort of a little, almost a farm. I mean, you could get to a field with a harvest and all 4 or 5 blocks away. And
Did you have to work out in the fields at all? In the hot sun?
Yes, cotton fields.
Cotton fields?
Cotton fields. I worked with my family, especially after my father died.
How many were in the family?
There were 6 of us.
How many brothers? Any other brothers?
Yes, 4 brothers and 2 sisters, and we all worked in the fields. And I remember we'd get $3 a day working all day, but since there were 6 of us, it was $18 a day.
Were you a good worker?
No, I wasn't. No.
How old-
My younger brothers were harder workers than I was. I finally got what I wanted. I ended up selling the concession there. They have a lot of people working in the fields, and I sold the soda pops and the sandwiches and all that, and I liked that much better. I was already sort of away from the main pack.
Already in show business.
Already, yeah.
But how old were you when you were doing that?
10 years old.
You were 10?
Yes,
You were working out in the fields and...
yes. I started working out in the fields when I was about 10 years old.
Well, then, how old were you when you decided that, hey, you know, there's got to be a better way of making a living than picking cotton, and you wanted to get into show business?
Well, money-wise, I would say that I was in my teen years. I was a teenager. I went into this beer joint with this old man who we were picking onions in New Mexico, and I went to town with him. And he said, I'm going to go have a beer. You want to come with me? I wasn't old enough to have a beer. And I went in there, and he started drinking, and they gave me a guitar, and I started playing, and he starts passing his hat around, and we picked up about $20.
Can you remember the song that you sang?
There were Mexican songs. I think Jambalaya was one of them.
Is that right?
Yeah, Jambalaya was one of them. So I went home with $20. That was more than I made the whole week picking onions. So from there on, I started playing the guitar.
That's a good way to make a living, you said.
I'm telling you, yes.
Better than picking cotton, right?
Oh, yes, Yeah, it was really great.
You know, Freddie, reading your history so far, you've really already had 2 successful careers. You had a career as a pop artist and also as a country superstar. What's in the future for Freddy Fender? Say on a 3rd career.
Well, mainly music has been my dependent thing. You forgot another one. I had a very successful career as a Hispanic.
Oh, Hispanic?
Yes, I had a #1 song in Mexico in '58 and '57 in Spanish.
Well, didn't you cover the Elvis Presley song,
Yes,
Don't Be Cruel?
Don't Be Cruel, and Harry Belafonte, Jamaica
Farewell.
Yeah,
That's
they were
right.
#1 songs back then. I have been doing a couple of films. I did Milagro Being Fieldwork, where I play the mayor, and it was directed by Robert Redford.
What was that like, Freddie?
It was wonderful.
Working with him?
Oh, it was just great. You know,
Was he tough?
Yes, he is tough. But with me, he was very, very gentle with me, I guess, because we're the same age. You know, I'm 52, and he's 52. And he had a lot of respect for me. And he liked, what he admired about me was that I always was happy. I was always happy, you know? And
Are you always happy?
yes, I am.
Most of the time,
I'm content. I'm content. I'm very, very good at accepting life as it is.
What makes you happy, Freddie?
I believe that being grateful for what I have now, compared to when I was drinking and drugging, when my life was all messed up.
You can appreciate it now when you wake up in the morning.
Yeah, I love to
smell
get
the
up.
roses.
Yeah, I like to get up at 6 or 7.
Is that right?
Yeah, I go up to McDonald's and get some McMuffins and all that stuff. While I'm over there, my wife's making coffee, and I come in and we have breakfast. And I got a little 8-year-old girl, and she gets ready for school. And you know, I'm enjoying a life that I used to detest.
Isn't
You
that
know,
so-
yeah,
isn't that beautiful?
Yes, it's wonderful. I used to get up and at 2 or 3 in the morning, all hungover and all, and
Wondering what it was all about, I guess.
I wasted a lot of days and a lot of nights.
You really lived that song, didn't
I
you?
sure did. I didn't know I was living it, but I was. And it makes it a lot rosier now. Yeah, I can distinguish the 2 colors now of blue and rosy. It's a good life, and I'm just very grateful, and that's why I told Robert Redford that I was just very grateful to be there. And he said, I understand what you mean.
Do you think that you'll do another movie with Robert Redford?
I hope so. I told him that I wanted him to do another movie with me, and that he was going to be the hero, a Western movie, and I was going to be the villain,
The bad guy.
with a big sombrero on, but to let me kill a bunch of people first before he got to me, okay?
Well-
and he started laughing.
You said you played the part of a mayor. The name of the movie was Milagro.
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 Milagro. Which,
Beanfield War, wasn't
yeah,
it?
it
Were
means
you-
miracle.
That's what it means?
Milagro is a miracle, yeah.
Were you a good mayor or were you a corrupt mayor? Or?
I was very corrupt.
Well, like Marty Robbins used to say, he loved show business just like you loved show business. that you apparently still do love it, and you travel a lot, and
you love to entertain.
I do. You know what you said at the beginning of the show, that I still sing with the same
Enthusiasm?
That is very, I sing with more enthusiasm now than before. And why I do it? Well, there's a lot of answers to that, but I really don't know which one it is. It's just like you guys, you know what it is to get out there in front of the people,
Right.
and there's something just
adrenaline starts
just put it
flowing.
on fourth gear and step on the gas.
But you have that beautiful rapport with the audience, and I think that they get that feedback from you, Freddie, you know.
They get something. I don't know what it is, and I'm just grateful for it, and just a happy thing.
we've been talking with our very special guest, Freddy Fender. Don't go away, because we're going to be right back.
Welcome back to LeGarde Twins Down Home, Down Under. We're talking with our very special guest, Freddy Fender. Freddie, reading part of your history, when did you decide to change your name and take on the name of Freddy Fender? How did that all come about?
Well, I changed it in 1958. I had been recording under my name of Valdemar Huerta with a Hispanic label out of McAllen, Texas. And I had a manager. He'd never been a manager before, and I'd never been a recording star before, so we were both. He said, Valdemar, you're going to have to change your name to an American name, so that when the gringos put a quarter in the jukebox, they can read your name instead of your Spanish name. They won't have a problem with it, you know. And I said, well, how about, and I looked at the amplifier. It said Fender on it, you know. I said, how about Fender, you know. Then I looked at the other amplifier, it said Gibson on it, or Gibson, you know. I said, no, I like Fender, you know. And Freddie came out of the air, you know. The amplifier was Fender, and we put Freddie, and with a Y, it's got the same letters as Fender, which looks pretty good on an album or a promotional thing, you know.
And it sounds good.
And it sounds catchy.
Freddie has a nice ring to it.
Instead of Valdemar Huerta Garza Medina Delgado El Toro Bravo Smith.
Now, what was your real name again? What your real name?
Valdemar Huerta.
Valdemar Huerta. But you know, today, that would be accepted because, you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger, they said to him, the first thing that you're going to have to
Julio
do,
Iglesias.
we're going to have to
Yeah.
change your name.
Yeah. Humperdinck.
Yeah, Engelbert Humperdinck.
Right.
I think, Freddie, particularly your record of Before the Next Teardrop Falls, they
what a
could have put
classic.
any name. They could have put Podunk 3 under there, and it would have been a hit because of the
Part of-
tremendous...
Festival Records in Australia.
yes.
Part of your soul was in that, on that tape.
You know, I didn't want to record Teardrops.
Is that
I
right?
didn't like country music. I thought I liked rhythm and blues and rock and roll. And my producer said, you record this song, and then you can record any rock and roll song you want.
Really?
So the other rock and roll stuff I was recording is still on the shelf.
Aren't you glad you listened to him?
I sure am.
Freddie, what has been the worst and the best of the 80s for Freddie Fender?
I think that the worst have been that I lost my mother in August of '89, and I lost one adopted son in a wreck in '89 in Branson. And the best is that I got sober in '85 from drugs and alcohol. And I guess even the deaths of those two people that I've loved have been in a way the best, because he has made me mature more and grow more and realize what really, how close a relationship the bad things are related to the good things, that what we call life.
You miss them?
I miss them tremendously, but when I think about them, I think only about the good things.
Were you close to your
And
mother?
in a way, I think they're better off than I am sometimes, you know.
Were you close to your mother?
Very much so. She was visiting me in Branson. When she had a heart attack, I took her to the hospital, and we were with her until the last time, and she died like with her boots on.
How old was she,
brave.
Freddie?
She was 70 years old.
She had a good life.
She did. She was all right, and it's part of life.
You were able
Did
to spend some time? Were you able to spend
Yes.
a little time with her?
Did you give her the roses while she was living?
Yes, I sure did. I took her to Las Vegas. She used to come out with her arm bandaged from just going like this on the machines all the time.
Freddie, what advice would you give to some of the young country singers coming into the business today, where they could maybe not fall into some of the pitfalls, you know?
I believe that the best advice is, whether it sounds corny or not, listen to what your parents tell you and the people that care about you that have been around longer than you have. Listen to them because they've been through it and you haven't, and maybe then you might have a chance to make it.
We're talking with our very special guest, Freddy Fender. Freddy, it has been a real pleasure having you on Down Home, Down Under.
It's my pleasure.
And we hope it won't be too long before you'll be back.
I hope so, because I miss Australia. I like Australia. It's just that it's, like I told an Australian guy, I said, you guys are too far from me. He said, no, Freddie, you are too far from us.
Right.
What a great classic one-on-one interview with Ted and Tom, the LeGarde Twins. I want to tell you about their book, The LeGarde Twins, Showbiz Hustlers. Let me take you back to the beginning. These twin boys walked 15 miles across the bushlands of Australia to a tent with a dirt floor and folding chairs. As the projector started up, the movie appeared in black and white on the screen, and there for the first time they saw Hop-Along Cassidy. They ran almost all the way home and told their mom, "We're going to become cowboy singers." Let me read the introduction to Showbiz Hustlers. Being raised in the bushlands of Australia in the 1930s and 40s was a rough and hard life. We didn't think about it back then because that's how life was. You have to live the hard life to understand it. But we also made a picture in our minds of the kind of life we wanted to lead, and it became a beacon that has guided us on our long journey in show business. We hope and pray that our book falls into the hands of our fellow strugglers and dreamers to give them unfailing encouragement to pursue their hopes and dreams. Above all else, we want to give God all the praise and glory for our long lives and for His mercy and grace in dealing with us throughout the years. So grab the reins and ride over 1 million miles with us from the bushlands of Australia across 7 continents through 23 countries and 45 of the 50 states in America. Let's ride. Ted and Tom LeGarde. They appeared in Vegas, movies, and TV shows. And for you Trekkies out there, get this. This book is packed with pictures and stories and is a must-read. We'll put a link below the video so you can get your copy of The LeGarde Twins, Showbiz Hustlers. The LeGarde Twins, Showbiz Hustlers makes a great gift. This book is about twin brothers from Australia who had a dream, and it came true. This is Gary Beatty, and as Ted and Tom LeGarde would say, "G'day, mate."